Yo, yeah. I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I spend a lot of time on social media ignoring my kids. And maybe this talk should be about how long can Ben hold the seal after he's broken it. I shouldn't have gone to the bathroom before this talk. Fake news, y'all. Fake news. Do I use this? Oh, thank God, because I would have been like, how long are we going to stay on this first slide? Okay. I picked this slide for a few reasons, y'all. One, that's like, he's not the creator of fake news, but he tells people he is, and that's just the fakest news there is. But also that little box underneath, right? So we see slides and things come across our media all the time. And this one was designed so that people could just plug in whatever they wanted on his little banner. I couldn't figure out technologically how to do that, so I just went with PowerPoint. But fake news. So the origins. It's been present since like basically written word. Fake news has been around from the first time somebody was like, "Hey, this herb will cure your cancer." Up to like now, where presidents and people trying to be in power are like, "Oh, hey, this is right and that's wrong." I'm quite drunk. I went for it. I've been drinking Long Island iced teas and rum and lemonade. Yeah. Yeah, so snake oil salesmen, presidents, kings, they've all used fake news. Very limited exposure to it, though. You know, you just kind of get your local audience before the internet. But now we're kind of inundated in it. Every day we've got to wade through this like bog of eternal fake news that's just like, oh, vaccines give you autism, and oh, pseudoscience this, and hey, try my airborne remedy for the flu. Like, I'm just putting that out there because that's also bullshit pseudoscience. I can't even read that right now. There are a lot of categories of fake news, and the stuff that's on the left side over there, propaganda, clickbait, sponsored content, hoaxes, that stuff is like not quite doesn't have as much of an impact, but when you get over to the right, you get the conspiracy theories, the partisan shit, the pseudoscience, the actual misinformation, and just the total bogus reports. That's the stuff that has the big impact because people believe what they want to. If it fits your timeline and if it fits your mantra, you will believe it and go along with it. Like you'll be more likely to anyway. It's something like 59% of people will share something that they haven't even read if they believe it. You know what I mean? So confirmation bias is a real deal. We got the pitfalls of fake news are that. Oh man, I'm standing outside the tape. Holy shit! I'm not even. I'm like, I was halfway on a public access channel. And the real, it's just like, the real pitfalls are the information illiterate, and that's kind of like maybe old people mostly, but also young people that just want to believe what they want to believe. Folks who are looking for their confirmation bias. You got tons of media sources, but I didn't know this. It's more than half, but more than half of Americans get their news from social media. Did you guys know that? More than half. And they agree that it's not necessarily accurate, but it's convenient. That's just fucking sad. Like it's easier to find something that like agrees with what you believe than it is to read for 5 minutes. I don't know that there's humor in that. It's more just sad to me as a scientist. The other big problem, so you got your media sources, your popular opinions, your social media, and then the big deal that I see coming down this pipe is that people are so offended by the presence of shit that might not be real that they're willing to just like welcome censorship. Like, hey, let's downplay all the shit that might not be real so that we don't have to interpret anything and we can just be spoon-fed this shit, like a vegetable in a hospital that's sitting on a respirator. That's not really funny. That's just sad. So the onus should be on the reader. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you are out there and you want to be considered a higher life form than someone that's decapacitated and has no brain function, you should be able to interpret the fucking data. Like, it's not that hard. I mean, literally, what did I see the other day? Vaccines given to people in Africa are laced with drugs that are sterilization agents. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some heinous fucking white dudes out there causing problems in the world, but the body doesn't work like that. Just like all you got to do is check a fact-checking website, read a couple of other news articles about it, look at what's going on in the world, study a little bit, and then decide that you're not going to post some bullshit where 66% of our fucking people are getting their news. Okay, I'm kind of wound up about this, and I'm really sorry. We got to learn the definitions. We got to stay current. Here in Portland, most of y'all are current on your definitions. I don't need to lecture you about that. We got to be skeptical of our sources, and we got to be investigative. And this may be part of the reason why people who are old fucks are just disseminating so much fake news. They were found to be doing a lot. So here's some buzzwords. Astroturfing. That's... Yeah. I don't know. Like fucking on fake grass. I don't know what that is. Astroturfing is like a fake... If you're like a fake charity, a fake grassroots movement, right? You got no roots. You're just plastic bullshit that's going to poison us all. There's a lot of stuff on here. If anybody got a question about any of that shit, y'all know what all that stuff is. Cloaked sites, confirmation bias, content farms, not content farms, okay? Content farms. All right. Some people are content reading content, but you don't necessarily want to do that. We're all out there in our echo chamber. One of the interesting things was dis, miss, and mal information, right? Malinformation is like dismissal. It's they're all different, right? So I gotta see if I can remember this. But malinformation is stuff that's like it's real information that's designed to attack a single person. Misinformation is something where somebody just doesn't understand what they're talking about. They're just spewing bullshit. And disinformation. Shit, that's the one we're on, right? We did miss and mal. Misinformation. Shit. Excuse me. I gotta tune up here. Hang on. Okay. Malinformation is malicious. Misinformation is incorrect, and disinformation is intentionally put out there to trick everybody. There you go. Did it. Just took a little rum. We know what fact-checking is. It's just fucking doing your homework, your filter bubble. That's sort of when you're out there and you're in your little bubble of people, and you know, if all of your friends are saying jump off the cliff, just think about it before you jump off the cliff. Herding phenomenon is when a ton of journalists start picking up a story. A whole nother set of journalists pick up a story. They all want to take that story and run with it with the same angle that person took, even if they're like with Breitbart News or whatever. Breitbart. I refuse to call it Breitbart because they're fucking morons. Satisficing. This is actually termed from the 50s, where if you don't have the time to figure out if the data is satisfactory, it will suffice. Satisficing. And triangulation. This is an important one, okay? So if you're worried about your media bias, you want to triangulate. So you maybe would watch like CNN, Fox News, and one other source and see which points correspond between the three. Kind of like when you're trying to find like a lost person, You want to triangulate the spots. You want to see where the last seen point is. You find a person with the corresponding things, right? And that's how you can ensure that you're not getting fed spoonfuls of garbage. And then virality. There's people who just literally, something like 59% of people don't even read the articles they're sharing on the news that 66% of Americans are getting, okay? So almost 100% of the people are just, it's like this fucking worm eating itself that's like, here's this fucking information that we don't even know what it is. And how often have you clicked on a link where it's like, and then you read it and it's like, well, this article has nothing to do with the title that was, I don't know. Anyway, people share shit all the time. They have no idea what it means. This is a slide about 66% of people. So 20% of people get their news on social media often, 27 sometimes, and 21% hardly ever. That's the 66%. That's where I come up with that. It's a popularity contest for these people, okay? Your news, if you're getting your news on social media, has become a popularity contest. You might as well be voting in a student election. Again, I got ahead of myself because I'm drunk, but they're reading the headlines, not the articles. People see what they want to see in the world, and that's that confirmation bias piece. How do we overcome it? We fact check, all right? There are a ton of great fact-checking websites out there. Snopes, PolitiFact, those are the two I probably use the most. Factcheck.org, Truth or Fiction, there's a ton more. You just look it up. All you gotta, if you type fact check and best, there 20 websites will come up. The Stanford History Education Group has a study they put out along with a bunch of tools for actually teaching yourself how to overcome social media bias and fake news. If you're looking for science, okay, as a biochemist, when people tell me, oh, 6-week-old fetus is a baby, I'm like, hey, show me a peer-reviewed study where that's true. Okay? Show me a peer-reviewed study where a 6-week-old fetus feels pain and they can demonstrate that. And I tell you what, they won't be able to do it. People cannot refute science because it's the most likely answer. It's not 100% true, but it's as close as you can get. Peer-reviewed, that means it's been looked over by other scientists. They agree. We talked about triangulation, being objective, and just fucking caring about the truth. Okay? Just fucking care a little bit. That's all you got to do is just you got to care about the truth so that you can get to the truth. If you just, all you want to do is get 30 likes and a couple of comments on a post, that's great, but you're fucking the world over. You guys have probably all seen this before, right? This is a media bias post by a person who actually did research on all the different news outlets, okay? And they covered it in lots of different ways. Everything on this graph actually means something. We got liberal on the left, conservative on the right, because that's how we all quantify it, and then they break it down even further, and you get up here with original fact reporting, and down on the bottom inactual fabricated stuff. Okay, so the circles represent the spread of their news. All right, so NPR, for example, dips down into the yellow zone and up into the green, but Fox News, for example, flirts between orange and red. Okay, this is a great, if you want to look at media bias, this is a great chart. Now, the answer to this by some of our fake news friends, this is from the guy that does, what is it, InfoWars. What's his, Alex Jones. Alex Jones, this was his response to that chart. All right, and you notice that he put himself over at the corner of freedom and independence. Okay? These are unfucking quantifiable axes, all right? Freedom and independence, give me, and then NPR down here over at tyranny and state run. Okay. All I'm saying is, I put this on air to prove a point that it's not that fucking hard to wade through. Okay. Some people think that censorship is the answer, and I say no. The onus is on the person. Okay. It's a little bit hard. It takes a little extra time, but you can look at these things with a critical eye and just figure it out in like 10 or 15 minutes instead of 20 seconds, even though it's easier to get a like and to repost than it is to read an article. To curate the balance, you guys, I found a couple of websites. I put them up here. Allsides.com provides headlines from all kinds of different media groups, and they also do bias checks on them. They have a buzzword dictionary where all the new terms are being identified and spread. Headline news, unbiased headlines from all over the world, which is important to get outside of our American view and see what's going on in the world. Pearl Trees is a cool website where you can actually combine whatever you want. You can create your own echo chamber in there, but like make a balanced one. And you can have fact-checking groups next to unbiased media and all kinds of stuff. And then Swipe News, I put it in there because it was made by some kid in Finland, and it just like is swiping through different news things, okay? We were told to bring sources. So the most important fucking thing that I will say to you is when you're looking at this shit with a critical eye, dude, look for sources. And this is not necessarily cited correctly, but this is where I got all this stuff. And so whether you believe it or not, you can look at all these places. You can decide for yourself whether it's real and legit. I don't have anything else for you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Please welcome back to the stage your host.